Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm back. I tend to often go through these rituals now, I guess you could say, whereby I literally do a mixture of loads of videos and then not posting for a very long time. And I must apologise once again to all of my loyal subscribers or returning subscribers who have been sort of like urging me to get back onto the drawing board of uploading more and more videos, but it's just life has been crazy, guys. It has been absolutely insane, and you might also realise that I do have a ring on my finger now, so I am engaged now, which is all very exciting indeed. It happened in December, but that's pretty much all of the personal updates that I'm going to be sharing from now on. I don't want to be sharing a lot of my private life on social media anymore. No more personal revelations, just gonna be keeping doing awesome content for you guys that's gonna be more to interesting subjects like today's video. You might have seen recent headlines going around the media. Recently there's been a lot of revelations, I guess you could call it, if you can call it that apparently Freddie Mercury had a secret child. He had a secret daughter. No, it's not me. I had to put that gag in somewhere. But this bombshell broke out recently. It was initially reported by the Daily Mail, but then it was picked up by other countless people such as The Mirror, The Guardian, People magazine, yada yada yada. And it's all referencing to a new biography that has been written by Leslie Ann Jones, Joy, called Love Freddie, and obviously it's sent absolute shockwaves throughout social media, Queen fans, everything under the sun. Like, it seems like at the moment everyone is talking about this and it's absolutely crazy. Some people are saying it's not true, some people are saying it is true, and all this sort of stuff. So I thought I would do a little video based on all of this recent news and this shock that we have heard amongst the Queen community. So let's break this down a little bit. The claim is that in 1976, around the time when the band just released A Day at the Races album, Freddie had fathered a daughter who is now 48 years old. Apparently she lives in Europe, she works in the medical field, she's got her own children, and this would also make Freddie a grandfather as well. Freddie had a brief affair whilst he was with Mary Austin with a friend's wife. So that is how it all happened, and this daughter was raised by her mother and her stepfather, but was very acknowledged to the fact that she was Freddie Mercury's daughter. Now, the biography claims that Freddie and obviously this stepfather, this mother and this child are not the only ones who know about this secret. Apparently the other members of Queen all know about it, so Brian, Roger and John, they all knew. Apparently Mary Austin knew, apparently Freddie's parents knew, Freddie's sister knew. This is like something that they all knew from the very beginning. And this daughter, who only identifies as B, has come forward with 17 volumes, I think it is, of Freddie's personal journals that he supposedly gave to his daughter before he then died. And she claims that he was a loving, devoted father who absolutely cherished her. Okay, so my initial reaction was first, wow. And then secondly, it was really, well, it shouldn't really be said like that. It should be said like, really? For decades, it's been known that Freddie had no children of any sorts. It's known that obviously when Mary Austin then asked if he did want to have a child, he said, I'd rather have a cat instead, thus sprouting his cat obsession. And given his private nature, especially around his personal life and his sexuality, it's not entirely unbelievable that this secret could have been kept all of these years without anybody knowing. So I'm going to look at this from two points of view. I will give this author and this daughter the benefit of the doubt. I will look at things both ways, as fairly as I possibly can. You know, I really like the idea that Freddie was this amazing, loving, devoted father. Everybody wants to know who the real Freddie Mercury was. Hearing that he was a devoted, if he is, father is absolutely brilliant. I love the fact that, you know, at least this is being written that he was a cherished, loving, devoted father. I'm thankful about that. You know, and I think it's the image of it, you know, this flamboyant but yet personal, shy guy being a devoted father was essentially a hidden part of his life. And it's almost like a poetic image, isn't it? Freddie being a father. I mean, you know, a lot of us have seen all of the footage with him and Mary Austin's son, and everyone who I see who comments on that always says, oh, Freddie would have been a good dad, oh, you can tell Freddie loves him and all this sort of stuff. The biography claims that B has always known this fact. She's always known that Freddie was her biological father. It was never hidden from her. It was never secretive to her. I don't know whether he had a room in their house or she had a room in his house or something that they could go and stay in. And apparently he used to call her a lot when he was on tour. And a lot of these news outlets have also had a quote from a letter that is from B saying, Freddie Mercury was and is my father. We had a very close and loving relationship from the moment I was born and throughout the final 15 years of his life. Leslie Ann Jones, who wrote this book, has come out to say that B is not wanting any money or any fame from this book. Why do a book then? I get it's making Freddie look amazing in a positive light and all this sort of stuff, but I'm failing to see the exact reasoning behind it, especially if she's not going, you know, public with this statement and with various different facts that have also been revealed since as well. And I guess this is where my skepticism also comes in as a fan, and I think we all then start to have a slight protection over Freddie. Obviously he was an extremely private man, but I just seriously doubt that someone was able to keep their mouth shut for this many years. And I think it's certain that all of us Queen fans have had so many questions about this, and Leslie Ann Jones, the author of this, has released a statement saying that she is reassuring fans that the bombshell is genuine. This is coming from Leslie Ann Jones. Now, some of you might have remembered that I think it was after Bohemian Rhapsody was released, or during its anticipation to being released, I did do a video about the biography that Leslie Ann Jones did about Freddie Mercury. I had a lot to say about it, as you can imagine. If you haven't seen that video, please pause this video, go to the link in the description down below and just watch it. In that I stated a number of various different inconsistencies that I found with the book. You know, so technically I did a review of it and I just saw a lot of pros and cons about this book. Majority of them being cons than pros. But I just urge you to go and watch that vlog, so please go and watch it down below. But for those who haven't watched it, who want to continue watching this video, I understand. I'll give you a brief summary. So Leslie Ann Jones is known for having written numerous celebrity biographies. Oh no, Freddie's not her first, and indeed he won't be her last. She's tackled John Lennon, Paul McCartney, David Bowie, she's done Mark Bolan, she's done countless amounts of legends of music, let's put it this way. Let's just say that all of those biographies that she has done is sort of well known in the industry for misinformation, speculation, and, well, telling some outright lies, really. Like a bit like what I said in my video before about the book. I think any Queen fan or Freddie Mercury fan should take her biography that she did, especially about Freddie, with a pinch of salt. She is known for making stuff up. As someone who has read an extensive amount of Queen biographies, I've read Jim Hutton's book, I've read Peter Freestone's book, I've actually read from those who knew Freddie best. A lot of the things that she wrote about contradicted a lot of the things that they said. It's a well-known thing in Queen fan community to not really trust this author when it comes to information or truth. And I think due to this, it just adds to my hesitation. So why on earth has B, chosen her to do a biography about all of this? I do not know. She could have turned to Peter Freestone. She could have turned to Brian and Roger and see if they wanted to help. Any of that. I mean, I don't know the circumstances, but there are more... I'm trying to do this without sounding like a credible authors who are a bit more precise with their biographies than Leslie Ann Jones. And I know a lot of you will be thinking, well, it's just because you've got a bit of a hunch towards the author.
Who, me?
I think the more that I read about Leslie Ann Jones after I read the biography that she did about Freddie, and seeing the stuff that she had written about David Bowie, I think you guys might think that this isn't just me who's being skeptical about all of this. Let me explain. So David Bowie's estate reportedly sued her. So it led to an out-of-court settlement, I believe. I could be wrong on this. Any David Bowie fans, obviously leave it in the comments below if you know the full story of it. If you actually dig a little bit deeper, specifically into the David Bowie information, it's been very heavily scrutinised, the biography that she did about him. David Bowie obviously had this 2 different eyes, and she claimed in her biography that this was a condition that had been passed down from David Bowie's mother.
Liar!
She also suggested that David Bowie's mother was a prostitute, and David Bowie's cousin came out and said that is absolutely not true in the slightest. She wasn't ever a prostitute, and he didn't get his eye condition from her. I've read a fair amount of David Bowie biographies, and I actually know how it happened. I think it happened with his best friend punching him in the eye.
When I was about 12, 13 years old, I had a fight, and I was hit in the eye, and it severed one of the muscles in the back, so it holds the pupil always open.
Yeah.
So that's why it looks dark. It's really the same colour, but it's just the pupil itself is large.
Yeah.
So it was no medical condition in regards of passed on from his mother or any side of his family. She's also made mad assumptions. There was also a claim that he inherited schizophrenia and all these various different other stuff. These aren't minor errors. They're quite significant. To receive backlash from the Bowie estate themselves, it kind of makes you think, why is she writing just utter lies about these celebrities? I guess you're probably thinking, well, that was David Bowie and this is Freddie Mercury. There were 2 very different people, and maybe her facts about Freddie are very different. If you want to go even further with some of the stuff that she said about Freddie in his biography, Brian May was even asked by someone on Instagram about Leslie Ann Jones's biography, and he, quote unquote, said that it is implied that her biographies were written by someone who hardly knew Freddie and that they lacked the truth about Freddie's spiritual journey. That is from Brian May himself about this author. Can you see why I'm a bit skeptical? Perhaps I'm speculating once again. Maybe Leslie Ann Jones is doing this because it's been a while since she did a documentary or a biography about Freddie. Every single one of her biographies have been unofficial. She wasn't in the Days of Our Lives, a documentary that Queen did. She wasn't in the Freddie Mercury, The Great Pretender. She wasn't in any of those documentaries. So when you're thinking that apparently she was a close friend of Freddie's and knew all these sorts of things about him, it's yet again something that is making me go, well, maybe she's just doing it because it's been a while since she did her last biography. The release of Bohemian Rhapsody has happened since then. Maybe it's just a very profitable subject because of that. But I'm sure all of you guys, like me, just want to see the proof. That is the thing at the end of the day, it's the proof that matters. So I actually saw recently on the Mirror website that Freddie's secret daughter has actually done a DNA test to prove that she is Freddie Mercury's child. Leslie Ann Jones herself has said that verification has been obtained.
Are you serious?
But she kind of shoots herself in the foot because she immediately added that, quote unquote, such measures are private and not shared publicly. If you have undeniable scientific proof that this person is who they say they are, you know, of such a monumental claim, why on earth, A, do a book about it, but also, what's the point of revealing this massive, huge secret if you're not going to back it up with the evidence? Why is the silence happening? What is that about? I get she might be hounded by the press, she might have this, she might do this, but all of this doubt that all of us have, that anybody out there has about all of this, and the quite potential to make Leslie Ann Jones's biography credible, she's just shooting herself in the foot by doing this, because it's a known fact that certain rock stars have children out of marriage or through affairs or through groupies. You know, Aerosmith and the Rolling Stones have, I don't know how many children from a number of amounts of affairs. But like, for instance, when Liv Tyler, when she came forward to say that Steven Tyler was her dad, it once again wasn't a massive hidden thing for such a long time. But also, in some ways, if this daughter wants to stay private with this information, then do not go to a biographer, and I fail to believe she's not getting paid for it, but still, do not go to a biographer who will then make money off that story, of your family history, and then say, oh, but I want to stay private. You can't have the best of both worlds, I'm sorry, but you can't. If you are going to remain private and keep this information private, stay private. Freddie kept this private for a reason. So surely you would want to keep his wishes of keeping it private. For all I know, that could be the reason as to why she wants to keep it private. But once again, I still don't understand this whole writing a book about it, giving a journalist all of these private journals, and she knows your identity, mate. So you haven't managed to keep it private because a journalist knows. It was clearly a secret for a reason, and I think, in my opinion, if she is who she says she is, she just should have stuck to what Freddie wanted, which is obviously to keep you out of the public life. And also, you then have to think about the fact that Peter Freestone, Roger Taylor, Brian May, none of them have come out to say that this is all absolute truth. They've said nothing about it in the slightest. And you're telling me that after all of these years, you know, Freddie's been dead for what, over 30 years now? That this hasn't been revealed before, and no one's speaking up about it now that it has come to light. Do you see what I mean, bro? It just doesn't add up. Now, I would get if this came out 5 years after his death, or I would get it if Brian May and Roger Taylor were to turn around now, or Peter Freestone were to turn around now and say, yep, it's all true. But this story came out, what, the middle of this month? Is now the end of the month. They recently went to the Polar Music Prize Awards recently. They got an award, and it was not said. No one mentioned a single word about it, and that's just what makes me go, okay, well, if you guys apparently knew all about it in the beginning, Freddie's no longer here, yeah, okay, the daughter wants to stay private, and it's her information to send out or whatever. Like, it's literally all over the news. I don't know how Brian and Roger could escape it. They clearly know about this, but that's why I'm thinking, I'm finding it hard to believe, because they have not said a single word about it. I do think that plays a massive impact into my views about the whole thing. I think until Peter Freestone, Brian May or Roger Taylor, or indeed, you know, you'd be totally amazed, maybe John might come out, because apparently he knew as well. I seriously doubt Mary Austin will ever say anything. You know, she's just not about that life in general. Until I see proof from Brian, Roger, Peter Freestone, I'm sorry, I'm not believing it, I'm afraid. Then that would be, to me, undeniable, visible proof. You know, you don't need to show DNA tests if your dad's two best mates were to come out and say, yeah, that would make people believe. However, that is not happening. Leslie Ann Jones isn't reaching out to them either, which also speaks volumes too. Think about it, you know, you're wanting people to know that Freddie had a daughter and this secret's come out and I've reported on it and I've done this book about all of this secret life that he had. Aren't the people who you would first go to are his friends, so that they could also back you up with the evidence as well, you know. But what do I know? So the articles I've read, I can't tell you how many articles I've read. I've never read so many articles before. The articles actually mentioned that this daughter was not mentioned in Freddie's will either, but it was provided via a confidential legal agreement to retain secrecy. Again, another layer that sounds convenient but also lacks transparent proof. So it's sort of like Leslie Ann Jones's word against everybody else, really. Just knowing her past, knowing things that she's said previously about things that haven't been true. But I mean, I think the thing to take away from this is that what we know for sure is that Freddie was incredible, undeniable, timeless, a legend. He's always been known as an enigma. People always try to figure out who he was. I think he's accomplished that. Nobody still knows the real Freddie Mercury, and I think that's such a good thing to have, really. There's always going to be people out there who are wanting to know various different information about Freddie. There are always going to be people putting out unofficial biographies about him. Until proof is there, just take it with a pinch of salt, guys. Just take it with a pinch of salt. Especially considering the source and how it broke out across the media, with the fact that obviously the Daily Mail were the first people to post this, and it's just broken out, and the whole reason why BBC, The Guardian, Telegraph, everything under the sun is now sprouting this story is because the Daily Mail did this, and it created such an uproar online. This bizarre claim of this unreleased DNA proof, Leslie Ann Jones's history with other estates, the silence that is coming from those who knew Freddie best, who are still alive. Can you really say that this story is true? Like I said, it could be totally wrong. I could be sat here in a few weeks' time whereby this daughter has released some proof, or Brian and Roger or Peter Freestone have came out and said, yes, this is all true. I'd be massively shocked if so, and that'll be a video and a half. So let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments down below. I'd be very intrigued to see what you guys think about this. On one side, I think, given all these factors, I'm definitely not going to be reading the book. I'm not interested in the book in any way, shape or form. I have my deep reservations about this author, and just generally the whole way that all of this information has been presented, you know, from the fact that the Daily Mail were the ones to release it. So I'm just going to leave my reservations. I'll remain extremely skeptical about all of this, and I recommend you guys do too as well. But if you enjoyed this video, guys, please do make sure that you comment down below your thoughts. Also, of course, give it a big thumbs up, and also click that subscribe button and click the bell for more future notifications about my future videos. It's good to be back here, guys, and I know this is a mad subject to come back to, but I had to talk to you guys about it. Make sure you check out all my various different social medias. I do regular uploads on both TikTok and Instagram. I'm hoping that I can do a lot more lives and things like that as time goes on, but we shall see. I'm not going to make any promises just yet. As always, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I hope to see you again very shortly for another video. Bye!